good time to be in Metallica. We're all very, very psyched about how the album has turned out, and you know, things really couldn't be better now.
The mood of the band is brothers, I would say.
We can sit here now and not only have Metallica back at full strength with an awesome, awesome fourth member, have a record that not only we feel obviously very proud of, but the feedback is very, very positive. To have a tour, it's one of sense of accomplishment.
I've worn out always being afraid, an endless stream of fear that I've made, treading water full of worry, this frantic tick-tick-tock of hurry.
After the load and reload, even prior to that, I could tell we were on a course of needing to I guess, get down to the more the bones of what we were all about. We need to invade places where you don't belong, or it's just some kind of strange thing we need to do. It's like you have to leave to find out where home is. Doing the symphony stuff, and there might be a bit of, you know, let's do it just because we can, you know. But we did, and we needed to explore some of those parts of us that hadn't been explored.
So close, no matter how far, couldn't be much more from the heart.
Garage Inc. was something that we talked about for years. Playing other people's material is what the band was basically founded on. You know, we started out as more or less a Diamond Head cover band, and took it sort of in baby steps from there. And playing other people's material, reinterpreting other people's material has always been a very big and I think important side of this band, and we had to fuck with that. We had to get in under that skin, and that's what ended up being the Garage Inc. project.
I was going over the Cork and Kerry mountains. I saw Captain Bill and his money he was counting.
A lot of the turning of the eyes inward started, I guess, with the Playboy interview. The Playboy interview was a major, I guess, a revealing of how fragmented Metallica was. Interviewing us separately at separate times, just, whoa, it looked like we weren't even on the same, not only the same page, we weren't even the same book. So that opened our eyes to something's going wrong here, and then the Jason not being happy in Metallica, needing to find happiness elsewhere, really made us understand that, are we really happy? You know, are the three of us happy? And let's get there. Let's understand why we're doing this again. Let's get down to the bones of Metallica. And for me, there was a realization that my lifestyle wasn't working for me. And when I went away, it was I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't care about Metallica. I didn't care about how anyone else felt. In a selfish way, I had to take care of myself, and I had never done that ever in my life.
I, for the first time in my life and in my life with Metallica, started preparing myself for the possibility that maybe the ride was over. An awesome ride, 20 years, a lot of highs, one or two lows, but what an amazing ride it was. But I think I started insulating myself to the possibility that maybe it had come to an end.
When he came back, he definitely wanted to start making music, and Lars and I were just so happy to have him back in the fray. And from there, we decided to reconnect and just get together and just kind of like, you know, talk and discuss, you know, how we're going to approach what we needed to do, which was make an album.
Artists usually, to achieve a goal in their career, much like these guys have done, to kind of reach where they got with the Black Album and all the albums previous to that, it takes a lot of drive. And sometimes with the drive, you don't really have time to take care of all the little things that may eat at a band or tear a band apart. And so the beginning of this album, that's the first thing they had to take care of. They had to really catch up on 20 years of being a band and not being you know, on the surface being friends, but not really being close friends, not the way they thought they were. I've been lucky enough to see them go through that, and it's amazing that they've come through it. You know, I would say history has shown that most bands at this kind of stage can sometimes fall apart, and I think they were very close to that.
The Napster thing, I know it's a lot more difficult for Lars because he was the general taking all the shots, you know. He was out there, actually he wasn't the general, he was on the front lines, you know. And the generals were back safe in management, you know. But everyone shared the feelings that he was saying.
I'm proud of the fact that we did it, and I'm proud of the fact that we have always stood up for protecting what is ours. In retrospect, should we have seen it coming? Yes. Did we? No. And it was a little bit like General Custer leading the cavalry, and all of a sudden, like, he looks back and says, hey, where is everybody? I thought you were all with me. Yeah. So that was a bit of a strange thing, but I'm proud of the fact that, if nothing else, it became a very public debate, and no matter which side of the issue you on, at least there was an awareness of it.
He ran with it, and he's always been kind of the talking head for Metallica, and I think it was a wake-up call, too, you know. Metallica's kind of had the attitude of, we can kind of do whatever we want, and hey, check it out, we're the mighty Metallica, and there was some opposition, and a lot of times opposition just fuels us in positive ways, not just to do it rebellious-wise.
In the last year or so, a lot of people have now come up with the sort of post-compliments. You know, you really were right 3 years ago. We couldn't quite see it. I'd still say that if we want to give away our music for free, we will do that. It just should be on our choice. The only other thing to say is just, it's really bugged me when people have this whole thing about Metallica being pro-record company. I mean, can we be serious for a second? I mean, we sort of like invented being anti-record company. We were anti-record company while all these pro-Napster bands were sucking record companies off to try and get a deal.
HQ for us is the sanctuary. Well, it's a clubhouse where we can come and just feel completely safe. Having all our gear here, you know, it is like a playground for a musician.
HQ is all about hanging out and connecting with each other and being really, you know, just being a part of the Metallica family.
Well, we used to rehearse here. This used to be a building full of probably about a half a dozen rehearsal rooms. We started rehearsing here in the mid-'90s, and about 2-3 years ago, the guy who owned it was basically like, you know, look, I'm thinking of selling it. You're interested? This room that we're sitting in here is pretty much the only room in the building that's untouched.
And it is a clubhouse in the sense also that the four of us come down here and just, we get like naked emotionally. We just like spill our guts to each other here.
And we have our fan club, our websites, our merchandise, all our offices, everything. So it's really one-stop shopping. The next exit down the freeway is the Grateful Dead, and we always heard about their kind of, their place, and this was sort of like a little bit of that based on their model.
James and I were just sitting in the control room, and I had a St. Christopher's medallion around my neck. And he asked me what it was. I said, oh, you know, it's a St. Christopher's medallion. And I explained to him, you know, St. Christopher is the patron saint of travelers. And, you give someone a St. Christopher's medal or medallion to give them, good blessings during their travels wherever they might go. This particular medallion I had was a St. Christopher's medallion, but on the flip side, it had a surfer. And so what that signifies is, whenever you go out surfing, this medallion will give you good blessings so that you'll actually come back. And then all of a sudden he said, St. Anger. And I go, that's killer. A couple weeks later, we came up with some music that was just outstanding. And at one point, we said, well, what are we going to call it? And James said, St. Anger. And it was a match made in heaven.
The word anger, it just seems to, in some perverse way, sum up the 75 minutes of this record. It's not necessarily a negative energy. There's just a lot of aggressive anger, emotion, energy running through all the 11 songs on this record. And to me, it's just a great title that sort of captures the mood of this record.
I've worked with them since the Black Album. I'd say this has been the most relaxed. At least it ended up being the most relaxed. I think there was some great drama through the whole process, but it ended up being in an amazing place.
Bob Rock basically said, a couple of years ago that if we were going to make another record together, we had to completely reinvent the process. We could not go back to the plant where we'd made the last 4 records, go back, put the drums in the same place, and that we had to completely reinvent the process, which is also part of the reason that we ended up buying this place, because we knew that this would really challenge us.
This is probably the most stress-free album we've ever made, but by the same token, it's also one of the most aggressive albums that we've ever made. Where it comes from, I don't know, but I'm not going to get in the way of the flow.
Metallica was fueled by negative energy for 20-plus years. In the last year, we have taken, through spending a lot of time working on ourselves and our relationships and all this type of stuff, we've taken and turned that around, and now Metallica is fueled by positive energy that ends up sounding like what you've heard, but the energy in the environment that creates it is really positive. So I think everybody has this kind of weird thing that you can only create true artistic statements and all this type of stuff if you're always, fighting. We've been able to make this really ugly, fucked up record under the most, quote, pleasant of circumstances in the last year in this wonderful clubhouse / metal factory, as we call it.
Wash your back so you won't stab mine. Get in there with your own kind. Wash your back so you won't stab mine. Get in bed with your own kind. Wash your back so you won't stab mine. Get in bed with your own kind. Wash your back so
When Jason left 2 years ago, we made a very clear and conscious decision that we wanted to make the next Metallica record with Bob Rock as the 4th member. Not so much the 3 of us without a bass player, but Bob being the 4th member of that team. We didn't want to bring in a new person, a new body, a new face.
We knew Bob personally. We knew how he was musically. We had worked with him for the last 10 years, and we had great chemistry with him.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. They weren't too hard on me. And I think really, it doesn't sound maybe when you listen to it like there's a lot of fun going on, but really, for me, it was a blast. There was a lot of talking. There was a lot of searching. At the Presidio, with the first part of the session, we were trying to find out where Metallica should be and where it felt right for them to be. So while these guys were getting to know each other, as odd as that may sound, we were still searching for the right place, and eventually we found it.
We sat in this room that we're in now for the better part of a year and came up with about the 35 songs. every single note of music that you hear on St Anger and every single note of music you hear on the 20 songs that are not on this record were created in this room.
Coming in here and not bringing a riff, not bringing a song, not bringing a title, nothing. Coming in here without any ideas and creating them in this room with everyone there. That was what we felt was necessary, because for me as a pretty major player in the songwriting, coming in, it was always a source of just tension. I would bring a song in and I'd be completely attached to it and the outcome. This is, it's like, here's my heart on a tape, or here's my baby, here it is. People listening to it and, let's take this arm off here and put it here, and it's like, I couldn't deal with it, man. I couldn't hang. So coming here and starting from scratch, it was like ours. We're building it. We're building this Frankenstein, this monster from scratch. And we weren't attached to it. We didn't have personal things attached to it at the end. That was pretty important. And just having it come out naturally, not forcing anything. Just being able to play, not having that bzz, bzz, recording, go, you know, any of that, freak out of that. You just play. And whatever we play is recorded somehow. And just taking the moments, the magic moments that happen. And those moments were louder than any wrong notes.
I think, the one thing that I've kind of realized in the last couple of weeks is that the most ironic thing and the kind of sad thing about it in some way, if you're going to find some sadness in it, is that in some way that what Metallica is now is the model that Jason Newsted always wanted Metallica to be. We just weren't capable of going there until he left, and that's kind of sad and ironic.
Taking down of the barbed wire around our own individual kind of territories in this band was pretty important. And Bob saw that how heavy that played on me, load and reload. Here's 30 songs, off you go into your cave, and I didn't know where to start, Well, this is a good idea. Do I put it here or here? It was just too much. It was insane. So coming here and starting instantly with, okay, we put the roots of a song together. Here's a cycle, and Bob said, here's a microphone. Like, yeah, I know what it is. What? Just put some words to it, sing to it. Well, I don't have any words. Well, you got 5 minutes. Go. Like, whoa, he's challenging me, man. What do I do with that? That was right there where I had to get really vulnerable with everyone and say, maybe I'm not the Shakespeare that you think I am. I don't come up with stuff like that. And that's what I thought. But we came up with some awesome stuff right there. And everyone shared the duties. And, well, how about this? I asked for help. Asking for help was, in my macho world, no way, The cliche of asking for directions, pretty much the same in the studio. But, man, what a free feeling. And trusting us to come up with some great stuff.
For me, it was a mind-blowing experience. I actually didn't want anything to do with it. Bob Rock shoved a pad of paper and a pen in my direction, and I was just like, hey, I don't want anything to do with this. This is James's job. But Bob was very adamant about it, and he said, no, you have to be a part of this. I looked at James. I said, well, how do I do this? And James said, stream of conscious. Just write down whatever. Yeah, our new bass player is Rob Trujillo. We had first come into contact with Rob when we were touring in 1994, he was in a band called Suicidal Tendencies, and they opened for us. And one of the first things we noticed was this amazing bass player, this monster of a bass player who had great stage presence. He had a big sound, and he was a diamond of a geezer.
Our first tour with them was '93, and that was in support of the Black Album. And that was a real big deal for us. You know, that was definitely special for Suicidal.
There is no carrying this guy. He's a professional bass player. The power that comes through his fingers, he's a ball of energy, but he's so calm and he's so stable and balanced. It's exactly what we needed in this band.
I got a call from Sharon and Ozzy regarding an audition to come in. You know, they needed a bass player, so I stepped in there, and it was a dream for me. I grew up playing backyard parties, you know, 15, 16 years old, playing Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne songs. So to get up on the big stage and to look over and see, you know, the Godfather up there rocking next to me was so special.
My friend and I, we went down the west coast of California on a surf trip. We started in San Francisco, and by the time we made it to the L.A. Area, I asked my friend, I said, who surfs down in L.A. that I would know of? And my friend said, Rob Trujillo. And I said, give him a call. And so he came down, and we surfed for 2 or 3 days. And I noticed that Rob was just a great person. He was just a really, really solid kind of guy.
And then later on down the line, you know, when they sat down and they actually decided on who they were going to bring in to check out, you know, I was fortunate to be on that very short list.
Well, we had 4 guys come up here. I'd be sitting playing there, and then after about 2 songs, I would say, I just got to run to the bathroom. And then I would run into the studio where Bob was sitting listening. I'd go, how is he? And when I did that, Bob just turned to me and said, he's your guy.
I walk in the room, everybody's standing, clapping, not just the band, but you know, Bob Rock's there, the crew, the technicians fan club employees, people are clapping. I'm just like, wow. I had to smile, you know, like, you know, wow, happy birthday. And Lars says, have a seat. And basically, they just told me, you know, we feel, you know, that in our hearts, we know that you were meant to be the bass player for Metallica, and we would like to welcome you, and we'd like for you to be a member, a partner, a family member, part of our team. And you know, I was, wow, this is not real, you know what I mean? I also, soon after, realized that it was very important for me to sit down with Sharon and Ozzy and let them know what was going on. So when I got back to LA the next day, first thing, I got a hold of Sharon, and we had a little sit down, and it was pretty emotional. But you know, obviously she gave me her blessings, and I spoke to Ozzy about 3 days after that. He left a message on the phone, and you know, listen, I'm not mad at you. I'm so proud of you. You've done right by me, lad. You know, and that really meant a lot to me. I can't tell you, you know, how important that was.
The first rehearsal with Rob was, to me, just mind-blowing because he had such a huge sound. He played with his fingers, which was very reminiscent of Cliff Burton, and we really liked that sound. I was blown away because he delivered on all fronts.
Rob adds another element to it. He doesn't just complete it, he brings it to another level.
We are going to try and make it everywhere we have been in the past, which is, you know, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, maybe South America, you know, maybe Eastern Europe. Canada. We have plans to go as wide as possible.
Well, we've got such a strong brotherhood right now. To not show everyone how good Metallica feels is a shame. So we'd like to go wherever we can, but do it in realistic terms. We're at this point in life where we can feel comfortable and kick maximum ass every night and not have to worry about a voice or worry about someone's arm or something.
Summer Sanitarium was basically rooted in the idea of bringing a bunch of headline bands together to play a show for the fans that they'd never see in any other situation. You know, not Metallica plus 4 or 5 support acts, but Metallica plus other certified headliners playing together. I have the utmost respect for Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park. I think they're innovators, and I think that both of those bands leave all the imitators that have come up in the wake of them in the dust.
People will be able to see how we are going to interpret this album live firsthand when they buy the album. Because not only will you get a CD of 11 songs, but you will also be getting a DVD of us playing the 11 songs live.
St Anger, it's brutal, it's punishing, it's dynamic, it's groovy, it's grooving hard.
There's so many facets to the music. All I can say is that it accurately represents where our heads are at musically in 2003.
It's deeper than ever. I mean, it's level 5. It's down there.
It's the new Metallica, and it's also the new Metallica album, and, you know, make of it what you will.
One word to span our career:
Unbelievable.
Tremendous.
grateful.
A lot of fun.
James Hetfield, rhythm guitar and vocals.
Lars Ulrich, trommer. Kirk Hammett, guitar and attempted vocals.
Roberto Agustin Miguel Santiago San Juan Trujillo Veracruz, kazoo.
Wait a minute. Whoa. He's got a bad back.
Be cool.
There goes the tour.